Yo, what is up, haunters? Happy Halloween. I hope you are all having a great Halloween and you're having a fun Halloween like I am. And that if you went out trick-or-treating, that you guys had got lots of candy, had lots of fun out there, and that you stayed safe. To any of those haunters out there that had to cancel your yard haunt, I'm sorry. I mean, I feel really bad for those people because I've had a few, relatively close, pretty close haunter friends that I've heard had to cancel their haunts, which is really too bad. So if you happen to see any haunters out there and they haven't been able to do their yard haunt, you feel bad for them because that sucks because they've been working really hard all this season. They kind of just had to not do it because because of the weather, and it just didn't work out. So I hear that some places are actually postponing it, which is kind of nice because that means that it's not necessarily over. They're probably just going to have a trick-or-treat like another night. It's definitely going to mess up their schedule for sure. But I mean, it's better than nothing, so those are nice. So anyway, we're just starting from the end of the driveways. If you were to walk in, we've only had maybe I'm going to say we had maybe 10, 15 people, which is definitely an upgrade from last time, possibly 20. Not a whole lot, but I would have to say quite a few. So unfortunately, the Spirit Tree does not have a lot going for it this year. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed with this year because it's a whole lot better, and we had a whole lot of fun, and we got a lot of compliments on our hunt this year, a lot better than last year. So I'm not going to say it's a downgrade, maybe not as much stuff out as I would have wanted, but definitely a success, definitely had a good look to it. So I'm just showcasing it now. I apologize for not having the Hauntathon like I was supposed to. A friend came over to help out a little bit, and that kind of threw it off because I didn't really have any time to record for that, so I apologize. But this is the walkthrough, for the first part of the walkthrough. So actually, what normally we'd be going up that way, and you'll see this stuff better right now. I know it's really dark. We're just gonna come up. We can actually come up through here, where disposed corpse normally would have been, if you guys can see that. Kind of up over here, which is something completely new that we've done this year, and I haven't done a post on this, and you guys can't see it super well. It will stay. You can see this tree character we made, and my dad actually made it mostly. He just took some old brush we had and basically made like a tree character. I think he looks cool. My dad said it himself. It's not the scariest thing ever, but it definitely draws some attention, and it's kind of weird because it looks a little out of place, but it's like a tree creature. He just used ping pong balls, and he put LEDs in them, which are powered by a 9-volt battery. Yeah, I think it was 9-volt. And so, yeah, that's the tree guy. As you can see, it's pretty cold out here right now. But yeah, this is the tree guy. His name is Woodrow. Hopefully I'll get some pictures and maybe a little footage tomorrow on him, since it's a little difficult to see. Some of this stuff I might be able to cover again in a quick video of a reflection, maybe, if I am able to do it this weekend. So now we have, this is exciting. I haven't been covering this a whole ton of my videos because I've been behind on my videos. We have Eddie, who is fully functional this year. He has a new motor. It's one of those reindeer motors. Any of you other, like, haunters out there that create your own stuff, will know what I'm talking about. If not, just comment down below if you're curious about reindeer motors, and I'll try to get back to you and explain to you what exactly they are. But basically, it's just a motor and it's spinning him. I think he might be a little bit off track right now. Like, he might be a little goofed up, but he's been running well all night, unlike last year, where he completely failed right away. So, I think he looks great. He's nice and creepy. He doesn't have any sound, which I think is too bad, but it also does have that kind of just silent and deadly feel to it. So that's also a little unnerving if you think about it. So, then we have the animated disposed corpse character. And you can see, before I showcase him, I'd just like to say that this die has had a few different configurations throughout the night. For a while it worked with the lid still on him, but he was sticking out too far for my taste, so I ended up changing that. And then it was working with the lid on him, but he was like in the actual trash can and not sticking out too far, and that worked for a little bit, and then it stopped working, so I had to lift the lid completely off. And you can see this is what we got now. This is the final configuration. It's kind of late. I'm going to be up for a few more hours, but it is the final configuration. His hand keeps falling off for some reason. I'm going to do a demo real quick to demo him. So you come up through here, right? And you see this. Now, Jackstraw would activate. I'm going to do a short demo of him now. I'm going to showcase what he might have looked like. I had to disable him because he kept going off constantly. But you can see here we have the Jemmy life-size Scarecrow. This one was a pretty cool addition, I think. I think I put him in a pretty good spot, to be honest, if I do say so myself. We just used some bricks and stuff to keep him down, just in case of the wind. Fungus Face, who you'll see in a second, kept falling over and face planting. Fortunately, his hat protected his face from breaking. But I was a little worried about this guy, so I decided that I would do that. I decided to just add a few bricks here just to support him. And you can see his motion sensor is working a lot better than it has been, which is nice, because I kept thinking he might not activate. And there isn't a ton of scare factor necessarily with him. But he looks creepy. What I mean is, like, his animation doesn't provide a whole ton of scare factor, in my opinion. So, I mean, it's cool and all, but you guys get the idea. It's not, I don't think it's going to necessarily activate it, cause something. So, this is where my brother was supposed to be, but he was out way later trick-or-treating with a group of his friends. Then he thought he was going to be sitting here. He was going to kind of be a jump scare actor. One of my friends was also with me, and he was attempting to do that as Jason Voorhees. But miscommunication happened, and basically we weren't able even to do that. He did kind of startle him, but not necessarily. It was more of a surprise. Maybe might be able to talk about that a little bit at the end of the video if I have time. If not, then oh well. But you can see this is Stump, where he's supposed to kind of act like a static prop and then scare people. And then we have Witch Doctor. I think she's been reinforced from last year. Looking at it now, I realized I forgot to put the skull on the little shrunken head, which is not a big deal, because in my opinion, I mean, Witch Doctor's cool and all, but I feel like it was a relatively ignored prop, like, of all the characters we had out here. One of the ones that was ignored the most by most people that came over here. But definitely creepy, and I definitely think she definitely adds to the look. But one of the lesser appreciated ones, I felt, from any of the people that showed up at the haunt. And in me, I completely forgot that I put that there, to be honest. You can see if you've seen any of my Instagram posts, and I believe my video, which I should have uploaded yesterday, but is now uploaded. I hope, fingers crossed, if I'm not an idiot. We have the Molten Monster. It's not 100% complete. Like, there are no caps on the hands. It looks good. Like, I don't think it really needed the caps, which means it's nice and temporary. But I do think it came out looking pretty good. The lighting doesn't really do a great job of showcasing it, because it, I don't know, the lighting, I mean, it definitely does look good. In this lighting, it just looks a lot better when, it looks a lot better kind of in darkness. But, you know, this is Fungus, or Molten Monster. From a distance, you can kind of see it looks a little better. And so then we have Jackstraw up here with some fences on some hay bales, which technically he doesn't need. But I think it just makes it look better. And impressively enough, he's been activated a lot of times at the store as a store model, and a lot of times at my haunt when I decided to activate him to make sure that everything was working. And he worked fine. His clothes kept kind of coming undone, but no mechanical failures yet. I don't want to, necessarily jinx it, but, a little bit concerned on that. I will show him off soon. I'm going to kind of do a weird pattern here of where I'm going. I should have went down to the graveyard first, but I didn't. So now we have Farmer Marlin, who I believe hasn't really changed much at all. Maybe some minor touch-ups to just make sure that his legs and arms are on. Just kind of leaning up against this little thing right here. Just kind of by the head garden, since we weren't, unfortunately, able to do the gardener this year. So we decided we would just have Farmer Marlin here, because that's kind of fitting. So he is here. We haven't forgotten him. So yeah, and then we have the Spirit Halloween lanterns that you've probably seen in the last video. The head garden, which I sprinkled some moss. I don't know if it's real or not. I think it might have been real moss, but they added some stuff to kind of preserve it. Just kind of sprinkled that around the head garden. And if you saw last night's last post, well, actually, why don't I do this real quick? So yeah, you can see that's that. It doesn't quite do the effect with the flash. I apologize about that. There's not really much I can do about that. I kind of need the flash on, otherwise you can't see certain aspects. But yeah. This thing doesn't seem to be active anymore. I don't know why that's happening. It's kind of weird. But anyway, I also had this thing here, like I said, I think I might have talked about this, how I was going to have this to add contrast to it. Kind of make it look... Oops. Oh, okay, well that just kind of slid off. I don't think I'm going to worry about fixing that tonight. Anymore. Doesn't really matter. Just to add a contrast, because it's like all this kind of like real dark, and then this kind of just makes it a little more unnerving in my opinion. So then, unfortunately, I apologize, now that I'm on the topic, I was not able to have time to add anything in the upper windows of the house. Like, the Paper Magic Group room was not able to happen. It might not have added a whole ton, honestly, is kind of one of the reasons that I didn't do it, because I feel like people don't necessarily pay attention. Unfortunately, the majority of the people that came over that were new, keep in mind, not the people that come usually, because they come usually to check it out. The majority of the people went, and they kind of came, and they wanted to get their candy and go. They weren't particularly interested in the decorations. Some might have been just afraid, to be honest, but anyway, point is, I don't think it would have really been noticed, so I don't really know if there's any point in including it. So, oops, just knocked its head off. Great job. Alright. Anyway, so you can see we also have the shovel here, and this kind of looks like a slightly dug up area, perhaps a dug up grave, or maybe where some heads were uprooted. You can see the sprouts here. We added more of that moss and dirt in a wheelbarrow, like I said, and these are the heads that I made last night, and I think this looks pretty creepy, because it definitely looks like they've been harvested and dug up, and like they're gonna be transported somewhere else, or who knows. And they got dirt on them, which is okay, because it definitely makes them look more real, like they were dug up, and I think that this is a pretty nice touch, to be honest. And then we also have this random grave here, just kind of looking like a random, like somebody had to be buried here quickly, for whatever reason. We kind of just thought it'd be kind of creepy to just kind of have this be on the outskirts of the head garden, just this grave. Wait. Oh. Oops. Well, now I know. You can see we have the skull, we have this gravestone here.